Deadbolt, Don Peoples. Let's talk about it. So we got to get into my man Future Vandross, Future Hendrix, Future Dirty Sprite. Just dropped his new album, highly anticipated. I Never Liked You. And I know Future gets a lot of slack, man. You know what I'm saying, in the industry for the type of rap that he does. Future's been around for a minute and he is the one who has molded this culture. But let's just get into this album and, you know, dissect it for what it was, you know. Now, when Future obviously drops a project, we gotta remember, man, we not about to get straight bars. We not about to get something insightful. We not about to, we ain't about to get none of that. What we about to get is some trap lyrics, something that's gonna make us want to get higher, something that's gonna make us want to chase the chicks. I mean, this is what Future's good for, and he's gonna give you some toxic bar lines. This is what he's good for. But with this album, obviously, this is just the first installment because he has another one he's dropping, obviously, with the Monster 2, which I think is gonna be. But we'll get into that. This album, though, man, for a Future album, was okay, but it has to be left in the context of where it's at. You can't put this album outside of a party album. Future is not going to give you bars that make you think. Now, the Misogyny track to me, obviously was one of my favorite joints. I love that joint. I mean, I feel like that's classic Future when you talk about that right there. I'm really fucking with that. I'm also messing with the Drake track. The Drakes and Tim's track, Waiting for You. Obviously, him and Drake always gonna drop bars, classic shit for Drake. But Drake kind of just went goofy on that one. You know what I mean? That was just totally on some make your right knee touch your left. And I was just like, Drake, what are you doing? But, this Kanye track is the one I was really on. And I was kind of disappointed with this track. Listening to this track and how this track ended up coming out, I really wasn't a fan of that. And I was curious on how they was going to work together. And, I know, Future has produced Kanye's and, Kanye had, a lot of influence over Future's album. But I really just didn't see the chemistry, I really wasn't feeling that track at all that they did, and I think that Future is, he's on a level to where for his lane, you don't need a Kanye. And, and when you think about it, even with having a Drake or a Kanye feature on your album, Future for what he does doesn't need any of that. When it comes to the streets and it comes to the clubs, because they intersect, right? Future's been running that shit for a long time. And I think this album doesn't change that because we can pluck 3 or 4 songs off this album that can go into rotation in the clubs and have people ready to party and, be on that shit that they be on when they listen to Future. And, when you listen to his lyrics, though, I wouldn't suggest letting anybody with an impressionable mind listen to what my man got to say because he ain't saying a bunch of shit. But like I said, you got to leave it in the context of where it's at. Like when we take this outside of the club where adults is partying at and people is inebriated in the whole nine, and we start playing this on the radio or playing this in our cars with the children and stuff like that, it kind of sends the wrong message. And, we label Future as this big druggie, this person who is high all the time, not in his right mind, is always preaching about codeine, Sprite, pills, and, everything else. But, he's a successful businessman. He's a multimillionaire. He's not like some of these other druggy rappers who came and went. Future has set the trend. So when you look at what Future has been able to do in this rap game since he's been in it, by dropping these hits and dropping this classic This is like his catalog is kind of, you know, when you line it all up, all of his club bangers, I don't think it's nobody touching Future in the whole industry. And you know, I think a lot of people would have to agree with that. When it comes to the club, I mean, you can run it all night, just have a whole Future. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about with features, with his, you know, solo songs, the whole nine. But you know, when it comes outside of the club, that's when we have a problem, and this is what's spilling over into our streets, and this is what they modeling the game after. You know, his words are very powerful. His words speak of, hey man, this is how we need to roll. This is how, you know, we need to do it. This is how we gonna move it, and you know, he's setting the trend for that. You know, and I think with this album, he's still setting the wave. You know, you got a whole bunch of people that still sounding like Future, that want to be like Future. So I can't say that he's lost it at all. I don't expect a Future album to have 10 bangers on it, but if you give me 3 to 4 bangers, I mean that's what we gonna get from Future. So I think he did his job with this album. So I do think that, you know what I'm saying, he's setting the way for hip hop. And we can't say that the drug rap is fading because it's hyper speeding, because these shorties is out here on K2 and everything else. So his words, his influence is still running rapid in this game to this day. So I think with this album, I know they said it's projected to maybe sell 200K. I could definitely see it being like that. And then if he drops Monster 2, I think he's gonna have some bangers on that, because that's the highly anticipated joint. So you know my man gonna have some bangers on that one. But I really want y'all to get in the comment box and tell me what y'all think about this album. Do y'all think that this was a subpar album from Mr. Future Hendrix, or do y'all think this is right on cue? This is the Future that we needed to get back to. Y'all get in the comment box though, man. Let me know what y'all feeling. Y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification tab so y'all can tap in every time I drop a video. It's your boy Don Peoples. Deadbolt. Gone.